Hey fam, welcome to Jack the Jeep. So I'm back in the garage. We'll be doing something a little bit different. As you can tell, hood's up in the Jeep. Got it up on my little lifts here. I'm actually going to be working on my exhaust manifold. All right, a few of the other things that I'm going to be doing. I bought myself a little impact wrench. Got some spark plugs, these spark plug wires. I got one manifold down here on the floor. And here's the second one. So the type of manifold that I decided to go with was the Dorman. OS Dorman. The reason why it's more stock, I didn't want to go with put headers in it or anything like that. I decided to just keep it basic and go with the something more stock. I tow my Jeep, and with that being said, I have a brake system that hooks up for my RV. So what I want to do is take this out. I'm going to try to clear it out as much as I feasibly can to get to the exhaust manifold. There is a crack in it. Once I get it out, I'll show you guys where it's at. And I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. I'm gonna disconnect some hoses. I'll probably end up taking the battery tray, all of that out, just so I have some more working room here. So that's the first step. I'm also gonna be replacing my air filter. This is actually just a cover, but you can see it down there. It's pretty dirty. I'm gonna be replacing that. This one is washable, so I'm gonna get it cleaned, and I'm going to cycle them through and trade them off and on. So first step, cleaning it out. All right guys, so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to take out the battery, but before I do that, I want to make sure I wrap each and every one of these wires that are going off the positive and negative terminals with either a red or a black. So if it's on my positive, I'm going to use red, negative, black, and that'll make it to where I'm not screwing anything up when I'm reassembling all this. All right, got all the wires out of the way. Now I want to loosen up and get this battery out. To do that, you have to, some of these have a little wedge that's caught in here. We just have to loosen it, pull it all the way out, and go from there. All right, we got the little wedge removed. You should be able to lift the battery out now. Now when you store this, you don't want to put it on the ground. You want to make sure it's up off the ground because it'll sap the energy out of it. Even though I should have this done either today or probably tomorrow, nonetheless, I want to make sure that where I put my battery, it's not going to be drained. So figure that out. Anyway, what I'm doing is I'm going to get all these nuts and bolts and anything that's connected to the battery that I took off. I'm going to also put it over there with the battery. That way it's all together. I'm not going to lose anything. And then we'll get this battery tray hopefully removed. Don't know how to yet, but I'll figure it out. So it looks to me like there's 3 bolts that are up against the Jeep in the front. I'm going to remove these, see what they do. Has the welded on snap washer on it. Looks like there's one also. Gonna have to remove this one and probably the one down here. Hopefully this will all come out. We'll see. Probably quicker with a power tool. My power tool suck. Gonna do the old-fashioned manual way. So the problem is, put my Jeep up on these lifts, that way I can probably go underneath if I need to. But it really does screw me for reaching on this side, then I was still either. Same. Nothing yet. Because I'm going to be removing my air filter, I'm just going to take this out too. That way I can figure out what's going on with this fuse system here, and maybe that'll give me a better look at how the hell to take this out. I don't want to disconnect everything or break anything like I did that, but figure it out. So you can tell this is definitely dirty. This is a sock. It's normally water resistant to where you can put water on it and splash it and it'll bead off. I'll probably end up ordering a new one of these, getting another filter. I will clean this so I can recycle it and just have two of them to alternate around. So anyway, keep going. All right, so now that I'm looking at this, you can see the amount of dirt. And I avoid water quite a bit. I don't like, I go through water crossings, don't get me wrong. But I drive, for the most part, pretty cautiously, so I prevent a lot of the splashing. Nonetheless, you can tell with this design, a lot splashes up. There we go. It's out. I feel like I'm a gynecologist and I'm pulling a baby out of an octopus. But I got it. So now I can get to that exhaust manifold much easier on this side. I do need to disconnect a couple other little things here. So this right here under this plate is the exhaust manifold for the passenger side. I can get to pretty much every bolt that I need to. I have to do a little bit of finagling with these hoses over here. I might have to disconnect some of these. Nonetheless, I should be able to get to all that. Unplug this, put it up there, so this is out of my way. We'll go from there. Some of these are tight, like this one. Some of them are loose. Go figure, right? It's actually a very easy repair if you have the right tools and you just have some patience and just plug away at it one bolt at a time. If you don't forget where everything's hooked up, but that'll be my biggest challenge. That side's easy, this side was a challenge, hooking all these up, getting that battery tray back in here, dropping my sockets. So it looks like on the front side of this exhaust manifold next to my belt here, looks like there was a bolt there that's broke, but I'm not positive. I'll check it once I get this manifold out of here. I have, it looks like two more maybe. Okay, are you kidding me? Let's see. Using the small socket and stuff, the reason is just gives me a little bit of more room to move with until I get my hand stuck. Come on, get out of my way, thank you. All right, so as I look here, I do actually have a broken bolt, it looks like. Could be wrong, but I'm gonna try to get it out. If I can't, I'm gonna leave it, but if I can get it out, I'll have to go pick up a new bolt tomorrow. Hey guys, so I went to the store and what I decided to do is not buy a new air filter. Trying to save some money a little bit here. So what I did is I bought actually air filter cleaning kit. Right there. Basically what you do, spray it with a cleaner all the way around it, spray inside, let it set for a little bit, and then wash it off with water, just rinse it. And then after that, then you spray it with the oil and you let it set like overnight. I'm gonna do it now, and hopefully by the time I'm done with everything else, it's dry, I can use it and I can put it in and go for a quick drive. So see how it works. So this is what, look at that. I'm gonna set it next to the other one so you guys can kind of tell. I know there's a little bit of a shadow there nonetheless. You guys will get the drift on this. Here's another one. This one's real thin on top. Here's another. That's thin on top. These are so thin they look like LeBron's hair back in the day. And then some of them, look at that, it's gone. Same with that one, it's gone. All right guys, so I got all those plugs out. I showed you what the spacers look like in them. Some of them are completely gone, it's crazy. I'm gonna, real quick, I'm gonna throw these 6 back in, and the reason why is I don't wanna get any debris or anything in those where these go. I wanna make sure they're clean. I'm not gonna tighten them all the way. I'm gonna put them in there a little bit just to prevent anything from going in. So get that going now. So I'm taking my time on putting these spark plugs in and really making sure I'm not cross-threading or stripping these out at all. There's 3. Now for the other side. Again, these definitely shouldn't be in my way when I take off the manifold and put the new one on. The reason I really want to do this is there is a little bit of debris in here and I don't want any dust or anything to get in there. So just going to put these in just enough to where nothing else can fall in there. Yeah, and I'm not a mechanic, and I definitely don't play one on TV. And as any of my subscribers know, I send most of my stuff to TNT Customs. And I would have sent this to them nonetheless. I just spent tons of money on gears, rear axle shaft, and I just need to save some money a little bit. They said this would take about 4 or 5 hours to do for them to replace the exhaust manifolds. So I figured I could do it. I'm about 2.5 hours in, and my next step is now just to remove the exhaust manifold. So probably going to take twice as long as it would take them. Again, I'm not a mechanic, so, but it'll save me a few $100s, so, which is nice because I don't have it right now. All right guys, so I got a lot of it cleared out enough. I'm disconnecting the spark plugs and the wires. So take a look. I'm sitting in the engine bay, but so I believe I can get to this one down here. Nonetheless, we'll try it, see how it works, go from there. This one's real cleared out, looks good. I do need to get some shields for my spark plug wires, just to run them when they're along the engine. That way they don't get too hot. Nonetheless, I think I'm ready to start pulling these manifolds out. So wish me luck. So I got all the bolts for the manifold off. I just need to disconnect it from the exhaust. But this is a good indication that I have some major crack going on. I can see it. I'll show you guys once I pull it out. Get it on the workbench. I'll show you how big this crack is. It's pretty massive. So no wonder it's sputtering a little bit also, along with those crappy spark plugs. So now I'm going to go underneath. I have 2 bolts left that I have to get to from underneath. They're right here, and I'm hoping I can reach them from underneath. I'm not sure. All right, guys, I got my driver's side manifold out. I want to show you guys the crack that is in it. It's crazy. So it actually starts, it's hard to see. Starts in here. Goes through the lettering. All the way around to right in there. A little hard to see it, but it's there. You can see it here. Get the camera out of its own shadow. You can see it. There we go. And I would encourage you first to disconnect the exhaust manifold from your exhaust, then disconnect it from the engine block itself. It makes it a lot easier that way. All right, so as you apply these, you put the bolts back in the exhaust manifold. You want to make sure you're not going over 200 pounds per square inch. So you do definitely need a torque wrench. Got a torque ratchet here, so go ahead and crank this bad boy on there. When you're doing this, you're definitely going to be using every little extension you have for your ratchets just to reach the right way, get the right angle. All right, cool. Now I'm going to tighten in these spark plugs real quick. While I have that accessible, I'm going to go underneath in a minute, hook up the exhaust to the bottom of the exhaust manifold. This side will be good to go to put the tray back in. I'm not going to do that quite yet. I want to get the other manifold bolted in as well and go from there. So. Some other go. I know I have music playing, but what I'm doing is just getting those tight, not tight, but started with my fingertips. That way I don't have to try to hold a frickin' socket and everything else up there. There. Now I have both started. Now I'll go ahead and start tightening them on slowly, both sides. That way it doesn't get cabby-wampus. And this is where you want to use that long extension. Just makes it so much more easy. I'll probably end up getting my torque wrench because I don't want to crack this either. So really just want to be careful with it. Work both sides. So this one is broke. As you can tell, it doesn't work. The little nipples on it are broke. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna zip tie around this to where it doesn't come loose. Otherwise, the driver's side's all complete. Now I'm gonna put the tray in for the battery and the air intake. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm marking my spark plug wires. I've already hooked up the driver's side. Now I'm gonna hook up the passenger. I want to make sure I know which one's going where because I have to feed it back through behind the engine block. Oh, let's go ahead and get it around here. Snug. So all that's left is my air filter. I'm gonna go ahead and see if it'll start and go from there. We got power. Running.